Hello, my name is Mark Wells, and I'm Executive Director of Downtown Portland Clean and Safe. The City of Portland has 3 enhanced service districts. We're joined across the river by Central Eastside ESD and Lloyd ESD.
ESDs help create healthy, economic, and vibrant districts. From local shops to restaurants and art and music venues, we support businesses, employees, residents, and visitors who live, work, and play here.
Our ESDs provide services that go beyond what the City of Portland provides. That's where the word enhanced comes in. We help to improve Portland by providing safety, cleanliness, and small business support. These benefits can include placemaking and economic development, small business mentoring, improved access to transportation options, organizing non-emergency safety, and community mental health teams.
Collectively, we serve as one voice to advocate for neighborhood improvements, support small businesses, and host community events, all to attract visitors and Portlanders to the very core of each of our districts.
We're funded in different ways. Some ESDs are funded exclusively through property owners through a ratepayer fee schedule, and others by ratepayers and by the City of Portland.
Together,
We're here for you
And Portland.
So welcome, everybody. That was a terrific video, actually really hot off the press. I don't think it's really been shown around town at all, right? I'm Hank Ashforth. I'm chair of the Lloyd ESD, and it is terrific to see everybody. And when I mean see everybody, I mean see, touch, and feel everybody. We've been through a couple tough years for sure, but one thing that has endured is this neighborhood. I've got a couple of opening remarks as this is the 2023 annual meeting of the Lloyd Enhanced Services District and the Lloyd Open House. So welcome. My remarks actually are fairly short. I'm going to give you a little background of and history of the Lloyd ESD. I will talk also briefly about the financial standing of the ESD, and then briefly introduce our what I call our program verticals, and then the heads of those verticals will speak to you about what they do actually every day in Lloyd. And then lastly, I'll have some brief comments about the renewal of our ESD. Yes, it's been 10 years, expiring this year. So we are up for renewal at the end of the year, and I'll take you through that process that has actually already started. So what I would first like to do before formal remarks is reminding you all of the mission statement of our ESD. And it simply says that the Lloyd Enhanced Services District builds community and political support for innovative, catalytic and initiatives in our neighborhood. And we do that by creating and building diverse partnerships, facilitating investment in the area, and being a champion for Lloyd. I can't say next slide, please, because that's me. So bear with me. I'm multitasking here, and that's a scary thing. So here's a brief overhead view of our enhanced services district. We've been around since 2001. There are 125 properties in the neighborhood, and we receive each year between $525,000 and $530,000 a year to pay for the services that you're going to hear about. And quite frankly, I can't mention the ESD without the support of our public partners. And they're listed here, Bonneville Power and Metro and the Convention Center, which it's great to be here. We thank you for hosting this event. It's great to be back in this terrific space. City of Portland, obviously, TriMet, Prosper Portland, who's here as well, and Multnomah County. So we thank you, our public partners, as we wouldn't be able to do what we do without your support either. So a brief financial report on the standing of where we are. The ESD's projected year-end, our budget projects a year-end surplus of some $700,000. But when we subtract our obligatory 4-month operating reserve, that number shrinks to a little bit over $500,000 in cash, usable cash, I would say. And our 2023 budget shows a projected revenue of $530,000. The same budget also on the expense side shows about $568,000 in expenses. So that leaves an overrun of some $38,000, which will be covered by our operating surplus for this year, for sure. So we certainly are in strong financial position, and I like actually being in that position given uncertain economic times that may be approaching. Maybe a brief word about 2022 and what happened in 2022. And certainly, as Portland faced additional challenges, there was actually some truly positive gains here in Lloyd. Don't need to go too far, and the top one on the list is the opening of the Earl Blumenauer Bridge. And quite frankly, the people to thank on that is the Go Lloyd board, the Go Lloyd members that made that happen. It opened on a glorious summer day, and it is a vital connection between two neighborhoods, Central Eastside and Lloyd, and actually two ESDs as well. Lots more is planned because of that bridge. Very excited about it, and thank Go Lloyd for making it happen. Right at the base of the bridge was another project we worked on, the mural that sits there on the Metro Building garage. It is absolutely beautiful. It is a terrific, welcoming handshake to you as you cross the bridge. And the LCA, our Lloyd Community Association, really were the champions to make that happen as well. So a shout out to you guys. Something else that happened was a little under the radar during 2022. We made significant engagement and communication with the other two ESDs in the central city, Eastside, and then the Clean and Safe District as well. And so the lines of communication are open. We're running on parallel paths, and I can see this now as actually the strength of now 3 ESDs, making the future look actually a lot more bright. And then lastly, we added a new service called Trash for Peace. And I've got a slide here, and I will go through that in a little more detail a little bit later. So the existing programs that we have, as I mentioned, Go Lloyd is our transit management association. And quite frankly, if it walks and it rolls in this neighborhood, chances are Go Lloyd has had a positive influence on it. The Lloyd EcoDistrict. It is economic development and neighborhood development through sustainable means, and they're working hard in every direction that way. Lloyd Community Association, which I mentioned, is really, quite frankly, the glue that keeps us together. They touch us in so many different ways, and we are awful happy and honored to have them as part of the program. I mentioned Trash for Peace, and I've got a separate slide coming there. The Holiday Landscaping Program is a program that we started way back in 2001. It's the beautification of Holiday Street from really First Avenue all the way out to 13th. That has been a core program since, as I said, since the very beginning. And then there are other special programs that happen now and again, and maybe most most important among that is, again, trying to establish direct communication lines with our elected officials at the county and at City Hall as well. So that's what your board works on a regular basis. And this is the new program that we added. This is the Trash for Peace program, which, as you can see, between April and December in 2022, actually removed over 42,000 pounds of trash. And that's a terrific effort to keep the streets of Lloyd clean. That work was actually as I understand, 980 hours of work in 471 different shifts. So it obviously is they're doing their part, and we support that for sure. So a little bit about, as I conclude here, about the ESD renewal. Your board has already been working on the renewal process, which will take most of the year. We have hired a consultant, Strategies 360, and they are already helping us in tremendous ways. They've engaged with the county, they've engaged with City Hall as well, and their help will be needed as we complete the task. And pretty simply, the goal of the renewal is to really take a hard look at our existing and current programs and services that I just mentioned, and then also look at those in a way can they be augmented in any way? Can they be improved? And then also take a look at opening up the scope and seeing if there are any other services that could help. So what I might do is take you through a timeline that we have prepared, kind of month by month, getting us to the end of the year and what's going to happen. So here we are in April on a beautiful Oregon, sunshiny day. We are going to run a survey at the completion of this meeting here today. And that's quite frankly where you come in. We need you engaged. We need your thoughts. We need to know what you're thinking on how we can do things better. So please take the survey. There'll be more about that coming. So then in May, based on the responses, the board will go and get together, review these responses, and then try to finalize a program set and the costs associated with those programs. We will do that in May. In June, we will be back out in front of you in a series of open houses, again, asking for your engagement and feedback. Based on those open houses, we will then huddle in July and August to, again, refocus the budget and focus the program stack. And then in September, October, we'll engage with the city to formalize that and start to formalize that in a contract, and then present that contract to the city in November and December. So over the next 4 months or next couple months, we really want you to look out for communications coming from either the ESD or any of the other program verticals, because we need as I said, we need your participation. We want to hear from you. You are a very important part of this neighborhood and critical to its further success. So I'm going to spend just I think 2 more slides on some ideas for potential programs. Street ambassadors are certainly nothing new, certainly to this city and cities across the country. So we want to take a hard look at what that would look like. The Right to Dream 2 operation, additional support to their operations is something that's on the list. You can see graffiti removal in a small grant program, to help business owners remove graffiti is something that we're considering. In the wintertime, a street lighting program is another thing that you will see, and we would like your input on. And then art and beautification is what most DSDs or BIDs do across the country. So please give that some thought. And then finally, I saw our district attorney is here. Maybe he had to leave, but the county is considering a new program. And as many of you know, we started years ago with a community policing program that combined the police force and our DA to help with the crime issues and safety in our neighborhood. So the DA has a new program called MAP, and the MAP stands for Multnomah County Access to Your Attorney Program, and it really would be much like the partnership we had many years ago. At least we're trying to see what the differences are now, and a couple of them are at least a program is listed here. And what it would be a part-time attorney that is working solely in Lloyd to help prosecute cases, connect people with services, other things like expunging old convictions if necessary, and then other legal services. So there are 3 other programs like it in the city area. As you can see, there's one in Old Town and Mill Park, Hazelwood, and Rockwood as well. So your board has had some preliminary discussions with the DA. There's still some more details that we need to have filled in, but this is something we want you to consider deeply, because certainly the safety issue is one that all of Portland is dealing with now, and a program unique to our neighborhood, is something that had worked in the past. And let's see if we can put a program together for the next 5 years. So some final words, and then I'm going to get on to the real meat of the program. I really don't think I need to tell you that we're in a unique and challenging times now. There are challenges everywhere, be they global, local, political, environmental, economic, what have you. But one thing in my mind that stands out is neighborhoods. And it's neighborhoods with people like you who live and work and commute into and out of neighborhoods like this. It's the people, you know how things work, how the economics work, what goes on in your neighborhood. And that's the engagement. That's why I'm asking for your engagement through this renewal process, because what really happens here. And I believe in you. I believe in what we've done so far. And quite honestly, I also believe in our ESD board. You guys really dug in last year, and I thank you for that. We're going to need your service again as we go through this renewal period coming forward. And I can't wait to go through it with you. Lastly, as I did say, we're financially strong, and I said we have terrific people and we have the drive to make things better. So I ask you to remember our mission, which is about you and you helping us find innovative ways to solve problems and find solutions in our neighborhood. So I thank you for what you've already done. I thank you for what you're going to do. And with that, I offer a special thanks to Owen Ron Kelly, because none of this would happen without you. I'm deeply, deeply grateful for all the time and energy you've put into our neighborhood. So with that, Nick, please come. Nick is the chair of Go Lloyd, and we're going to roll through our vertical programs, and I can't thank you enough for being part of Lloyd.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you very much, Hank. Hi, I'm Mick O'Connell. I'm the chair of the Go Lloyd Board of Directors. I just want to kind of echo what Hank mentioned in his opening remarks. this last year was really the first time in what felt like ages that we've actually been able to enjoy people's company, strangers' company. And it's felt great. I've been a board member for, I'm looking at Owen again here, probably 10 years or so. And always enjoyed these get-togethers with other folks, and not being able to do it for a few years was hard. Being able to do it again now feels terrific. So it's a delight to see everyone here. Thank you. Before I get into my remarks, I want to recognize a few folks. First, the staff of Go Lloyd. Your dedication, your passion for this neighborhood is what makes this organization so successful, and really makes it such a delight to be a part of. Owen, Jenny, Ophelia, Amber, Michael, please stand up or raise your hands and take a bow. Thank you all. Second, my fellow board members of the Go Lloyd Board of Directors. Our job is to provide guidance to this extraordinary group of people, and our job is probably one of the easiest jobs in the world. So my board members, please, if you raise your hands too, and have folks recognized. Thank you. This year marks our 29th year as an organization, and we've been providing on-the-ground services to the Lloyd neighborhood for 26 of those years. We are very proud to say that Lloyd is one of the most accessible neighborhoods in the region, and it's because of Go Lloyd's tireless work in promoting and investing in transportation options that there's approximately 1,500 fewer cars congesting our streets and looking for parking spaces every workday. And just to put that into perspective, that is somewhere in the region of a $90 million parking structure that doesn't have to get built. So that frees up a lot of capital for other improvements in this neighborhood, and that's a big deal. In 2022, excuse me, as Hank mentioned previously, thank you for those kind kudos, Hank. We saw the opening of one of the most significant pieces of public infrastructure since the extension of the streetcar to the Eastside, and that is the Congressman Earl Blumenauer Bridge. What had been in the planning stages for the better part of 20 years is now open and being used on a regular basis. During the first few weeks of operation, Bridge probably saw somewhere in the region of 1,500 cyclists per day. We're averaging somewhere between 750 and 1,000 cyclists now, depending on our weather. In addition to our modest financial contribution to the bridge, Go Lloyd and our partners were instrumental in helping plan and coordinate the bridge opening celebration. That event attracted more than 8,000 attendees on a pretty bloody hot July day. And there were about 50 vendors present on both sides of the bridge. We hosted an additional celebration event at Haslow Plaza. That featured some live music and some food vendors and a bike repair station. And if I recall correctly, Commissioner Mapps and Congressman Blumenauer led a parade of revelers from that to the bridge dedication. Though our progress is gradual, we've begun to see a return of employers to Go Lloyd's Universal Pass program. This year, more than 1,900 employees responded to the annual Commute Choice Survey, and we retained 15 businesses on the program. We've added 2 new employers, Courtyard Bar Marriott and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And with these additions, we now have over 2,200 Lloyd employees on the Universal Pass program. Though overall transit ridership numbers are comparatively low, we continue to administer and actively promote this highly effective program. Leveraging the new bridge, Go Lloyd's Mobility Committee sponsors breakfast on the bridge gatherings on the last Friday of every month. There's coffee, bagels, and other goodies are available from 7 to 9 a.m. on the North Bridgehead Plaza. So be sure to stock up on some breakfast on your way to work on those Fridays. We also conducted 4 guided walks during the month of September using our carefully curated lunchtime walking map. These maps are free, so please stop by the Go Lloyd table on your way out and grab a few. The permanent pedestrian and bike counter will be installed on the Blumenauer Bridge in the next month or two. We continue to add additional bike parking throughout the neighborhood when property managers request them. This is a legacy program that continues despite limited parking meter revenues. And we're excited that later this month, we'll be rolling out our low-income residential transportation wallets. The Go Lloyd Transportation Store continues to operate 4 days a week. This past year, despite pretty low office occupancies, we saw nearly 300 visitors to the store. We hope that this is going to continue to trend upwards during 2023 and beyond. The store continues to be a convenient location for employees, residents, and visitors to buy or reload hop cards and C-Tran passes. All told, the store did nearly 16,000 in sales in 2022, and we hope to increase those revenues in the future. As you know, as I hope you know, we're always available to help residents and employees with personalized commute plans and other resources. As many return to the workplace, we want to ensure that everyone has knowledge of and access to transportation options that work best for them. For those who might not know, Go Lloyd manages the Lloyd Cycle Station. This is a premium bike storage, shower, and locker room facility on the lower level of the Lloyd 700 building. Space has capacity for up to 650 bikes of all shapes and sizes. And there's currently 370 active members, all of whom have 24-hour access to the station. Membership is just $15 a month, or it's $99 a year. And throughout the year, there are bike mechanics on site. They'll do quick repairs and tune-ups for cycle station users. It really is a terrific facility, really terrific. I'm now going to hand over to Owen Ronkelly, who's going to talk some more about the work that Go Lloyd does. Thanks, Owen.
Thanks, Mick. I'm Owen Ronkelly, Executive Director of Go Lloyd. I'm pleased that you could be all here with us today and finally see each other in person. And you get to hear a little bit about what's happening in our neighborhood. For those of you who have recently parked in Lloyd for a Blazers game, a concert at Modus Center, or for an event here at the Convention Center, you may have noticed a difference at the parking meter as parking rates have gone up. And by the way, you're welcome, because Go Lloyd is partially responsible for that change. One of the purposes of the new parking event district is to encourage event goers to choose another form of transportation to get to one of the many major events our neighborhood hosts throughout the year. We know it's not possible for everybody to take transit or ride a bike to a game, but we're hoping with a little disincentive may encourage those who can to do so. Another reason for the district is to simply manage on-street parking in a manner that helps prevent people from circling looking for parking, reducing roadway congestion for others. Go Lloyd worked with PBOT to collect and analyze parking data in a large swath around Rose Quarter and the Convention Center, examining parking behavior on a typical event day and a non-event day. And we did this both on weekdays and weekends. Changes in the meter rates will be adjusted using a council-adopted, data-driven approach based on parking demand. Revenues from the event district will be used to fund transportation wallet for low-income Lloyd residents. Wallets will be preloaded with values for TriMet, Bike Town, electric scooter, and possibly some value for on-street parking as well. As you can see from the heat map comparison, there's quite a difference in on-street parking use during events. As a typical weekday is shown on the left, whereas an event weekday is shown on the right. These heat maps, the color red in these heat maps show areas of high use, over 85% occupancy, whereas the green color indicates low occupancy, less than 55%. Orange shows medium to high use, and yellow indicates medium to low use. Go Lloyd, in partnership with the Portland Bureau of Transportation, will continue to monitor and collect parking occupancy information on a yearly basis. We are grateful for our role in shaping parking policy and guiding transportation investment in Lloyd, including the previously mentioned Blumenauer Bridge and the new bike infrastructure. Additional funding has gone to pay for streetcar vehicles and real-time transit tracker displays in bus stops and MAX platforms, as well as building lobbies and tenant lobbies. By city rule, 51% of net meter revenue gets reinvested back in the neighborhood. And the Meter Revenue Allocation Committee distributes those funds to projects that improve and enhance the transportation system, and by extension, the neighborhood as a whole. Over the years, we've invested nearly $2 million in Lloyd. In the meantime, we wait for meter revenues to rebound. There are positive signs of increased activities here and there, but it's been very gradual. Given that, we've been taking a more austere approach to budgeting, but we will continue to strategically and opportunistically invest those funds in priority projects for the neighborhood. Go Lloyd has been working with a DEI consultant team made up of TWE2, PKS International, and Tool Design to engage traditionally underrepresented populations in and around the Lloyd neighborhood. We completed our first round of focus groups in October and just wrapped up our second round last month. We work with 4 groups recruited and facilitated by community engagement liaisons representing Chinese, Vietnamese, Hispanic, Russian, Ukrainian, and BIPOC communities. We also conducted demographic research to better understand Lloyd's resident population. We learned that there's approximately 4,200 households and about 7,000 residents in Lloyd. The result of this work will be used to adjust our programming and service offerings and to be more inclusive in our messaging in order to reach a larger and more diverse audience. Finally, given the diminished state of transportation demand management in the current hybrid work environment, Go Lloyd has used an opportunity to look more introspectively at the organization as a whole. We've conducted a staff retreat to modify our work plan and how we engage our businesses, residents, and visitors. We're working with Metro's RTO group to pursue grant opportunities that will allow us to continue delivering programs and services at a high level. And one of our esteemed board members undertook an overdue review of our bylaws, which was a welcome revelation. And as we stated previously, we've had to be more deliberate with our financial planning and forecasting and future revenues. While some of these talking points can be a little sobering, we remain optimistic that Lloyd and the city at large will bounce back with the vigor and resilience it's long been known for. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kristen Leiber, Executive Director of Lloyd EcoDistrict, to talk about what they've been working on.
Thanks, Owen. Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Leiber. I am 10 weeks into my role at Lloyd EcoDistrict. I'm very happy to be here. This is, like I said, 10th week in the role, 10th week in Portland. So I'm really drinking from a fire hose. We'll dive what it means to be an eco district. We'll dive into what we did in 2022, and we'll take a look at what we're heading for in 2023. In response to changing times, Lloyd Eco District has expanded beyond our focus of sustainability and incorporated pillars of equity and resilience into our work. Why might these be important to sustainability? Ban Ki-moon, the former UN Secretary General, put it best: saving our planet, lifting people out of poverty, advancing economic growth. These are one and the same fight. We must connect the dots between climate change, water scarcity, energy shortages, global health, food security, and women empowerment. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly and collectively from stressors that challenge a community, say pandemics, seismic events, climate emergencies like smoke and wildfire. Equity is essential as we work to uplift and protect all neighbors, not just those with financial means. And this is something that Portland has understood sooner than many cities. It's vital to understand our history, to build on the legacy of these thought leaders. The vision for Lloyd today began in 2009 with Lloyd Crossing, you see here. To those re-envisioning Lloyd at this point, the Eco District meant inclusion of habitats and tree canopy among the high rises. For others like Albina Vision Trust, where the Rose Quarter is now, the vision incorporates a restitching together of the street grid, incorporating more walkable communities and repairing a displaced neighborhood. Whoops. And to others, the vision is focused on a more modern, connected city. The Green Loop imagines an active transportation hub throughout the city, incorporating natural elements, human scale design, and clusters of economic development. These visions have guided our leadership of Lloyd Eco District and made it what it is today. While Eco District in general is an urban design term referring to the combination of community development and environmental preservation, we've taken that a step further. In 2022, we achieved our Eco District certification. We're the first in Oregon and only 7th in the world to get this achievement after a lengthy years-long process of collaboration, meetings, outreach events, and collaborative planning sessions. It's very similar to how LEED certification applies to buildings, but this is for neighborhoods, and it serves as a public commitment to environmental protection, and it expands the definition of what sustainability means. Our most visible outcome is our 2030 roadmap. It's got 62 planning and programming initiatives, but the least visible and arguably the most important aspect of this work was that we are more connected now than ever to residents, to property owners, government agencies, employers, as partners and as neighbors. The certification is not a highlight of what we do alone. It's rather what we do as a whole. Also incorporating elements of resiliency, how to remain strong in the face of challenges, and equity, the ability for all of us to rise in unison. Certification was a huge lift. 2030 roadmap was an investment in the future that's going to pay off for many years, but we did more than that in 2022. We received $65,000 in grants. We got in-kind donations of over $80,000 for our organization, which went straight back into Lloyd, and it made substantial headway in offsetting our ESD funding. We've organized and collaborated with partners in this room, 36 events in 1 year alone, spanning community celebrations, workshops, and other programs. And by the end of 2022, our ongoing LED retrofit program with Conserve Energy now boasts an annual reduction of 900 million tons of carbon emissions in Portland. We also mobilized 500 hours of volunteer service, primarily focused on Lloyd public areas and green space. We made headway in 3 primary areas in Lloyd in 2022. We're really focused on adapting to a changing climate. It's a significant area of focus going forward, especially in grant writing. We trained with the Portland Net program, and we set the foundation for a 2023 deep dive into resilience in the built environment. Another area of focus was on preservation of spaces for people and habitats. We continued our role as stewards for Peace Memorial Park and the Pollinator Corridor on Multnomah, both of which are entry points for many Portlanders to Lloyd. And our partnership on the Justice for Keaton Otis Memorials continued to grow as we partner not just to preserve history, legacy, and lives lost, but also to redistribute space from cars to space for people. And the third area of our focus is in resource regeneration and renewable energy. Selfless partnership is how we are moving forward. RWDI and Conserve Energy are just two examples. 2022 saw us analyzing area Energy Star usage and continuing the momentum with our to date over 50 commercial LED retrofit projects. Both are critical to our ability to both track baseline measurements and then make meaningful improvements. 2023 has already given us some critical context for urgent work and sustainability. In the past month, the IPCC and the UN released a report emphasizing that, quote, achieving the temperature goals require transformational change in economic, social, technological, and political aspects of society, and we are responding in kind. Along with continued focus on resilience strategies, we're increasing commitments to outside funding, grant writing commitments of at least $500,000 this year to support our work as we both zoom out to see the big picture and zoom in to make individual impact in Lloyd. This includes increasing community-oriented events, targeting residents, employees, and small businesses to strengthen our community fabric. And it also includes a commitment to increase neighborhood volunteer hours by 20% annually. We need to spread our Lloyd partners' work more visibly, which we're accomplishing through updates and communications, web redesigns, targeted partnerships, and ways to serve as a regional thought leader in the work we do. An area of focus in the future is to advocate for more overall resilience and sustainability measures, both through planning, city planning, through the Central City 2035 plan with the Lloyd District Overlay Update, and through state legislation, specifically around climate resilience for the built environment. It's vital we act locally while also advocating for transformation regionally. We have to set aside personal wins and focus on broad partnerships, tackling complex issues and finding allies in really difficult work. Our certification work gives a very strong foundation for that. Partners, sponsors, and neighbors, many of whom are here today in this room. We plan to leverage this in 2023, looking for areas of overlap where we can have an impact larger than the sum of our parts. Projects like the Blumenauer Bicycle and Pedestrian Bridge, completed in 2022 and honored later this month at our Model the Way annual awards, are excellent examples of collaborative partnerships that span industries, neighborhoods, and initiatives promoting active transit, resilience infrastructure, Vision Zero, and much more. Our goals in resilience continue to increase as we focus on climate resilience preparation and bouncing back in several areas. The Portland Clean Energy Fund, as they prepare their climate investment plan and plans to launch significant grant funding later this year, are major. We anticipate helping all Lloyd stakeholders prepare to advocate for themselves and their communities through this grant funding. Additionally, like much of Portland, Lloyd struggles with an identity and a new future where some workers opt to remain at home. This encourages us to combat crime, vandalism, and disinvestment with creativity, including time-tested SEPTED solutions and strategies, and creating reasons for Portlanders to fill the sidewalks with good intention. As President Barack Obama once said, we are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change and the last generation to do something about it. We're doubling our commitment to change, transparency, and hard work. So I invite you all today to take some small steps to engage with us this month. We urge you to follow our newsletter at a minimum and attend any of the 4 remaining events Lloyd EcoDistrict has the rest of April. Lloyd EcoDistrict strives to be a rising tide that lifts all boats, including yours. Let's take President Obama's words to heart and take action together to make a more sustainable future.
Hi there, I'm Keith Jones with the Lloyd Community Association. I'm the president, and also I live here. I've moved here in 2016, and it's been such a great experience that I just can't find myself leaving anytime soon. as Hank mentioned, the Lloyd Community Association is one of the few community associations in the city. It's both a neighborhood association and a business association. So it provides this forum where businesses and residents can work together to get things done. So I got that. My board includes a good representation of all of those things. As I mentioned, I'm a resident, and so I bring that perspective of what it's like to live here in Lloyd. Joel is a small business owner. He actually owns Greenbridge Coffee that's right there on Holiday. Emily works for a property development and management company. Sarah is a new addition to our board, and she represents the businesses on Broadway. That's some businesses that we haven't really coordinated with in a very long time. And so we hope that Sarah's going to help bridge that and help create more of a sense of community and interaction between the two. And of course represents the Lloyd Center. Lloyd Center is a huge presence in our neighborhood and has been actively engaged with the community for decades. Big community supporter. And the recent reimagining of Lloyd Center has brought new life to Lloyd, and I think it's something everyone's interested in. Ziggy is with Crown Plaza and brings with him the hotel and tourism perspective. And then Joshua represents the Lloyd EcoDistrict, and Ophelia Go Lloyd and the Lloyd ESD, which allows us to coordinate and amplify each other's shared efforts. If I can I just have the board members that are here sort of stand up real quick? I'd like to thank them really for all the work that they do. As I mentioned, the Lloyd organizations all work closely together. As president, you become a board member of the Lloyd ESD. And then also we work, Go Lloyd and Lloyd ESD are on our board, so that gets us the transportation issues and the sustainability. And then in addition to that, we're board members of the Northeast Coalition of Neighborhoods. NECN helps us coordinate and share resources with local neighborhoods. We've been a member since 2018, and I think we were the last neighborhood to join a coalition, which was incredible to me. But NECN helps us with advocacy, community grants, coalition building, and promotion through their media, like Hey Neighbor, NECN's community newspaper. And then we're also a member of Venture Portland, which supports us through grant funds. Recently, we've been awarded $3,000 from them to do a website redesign, trainings, technical assistance, and most importantly, staffing. Kathy Medor, if Kathy's still here, there she is. Kathy is our staff support and is responsible for social networking, e-newsletter, the website, and administrative support. She does a fantastic job and really kind of helps us keep the ship upright and on course. So as a community association, we do lots of things like events, communications, land use representation, public policy representation, community projects, providing networking opportunities, and promoting the Lloyd. But today I sort of want to condense that to 4 key purposes and illustrate the ways we express those in regards to livability, advocacy, safety, and connections. On the livability side, Lloyd's an interesting place. We have a mix of offices, including the state of Oregon and Metro, small businesses, 3 large destination properties, which attracts tons of visitors, the Moda Center, the Oregon Convention Center, and Lloyd Center, and of course, residents, which are a growing population. Livability is important to attracting residents, but also making it a welcoming environment for workers and visitors. Livability also means having housing opportunities for people across the economic spectrum. And Lloyd proudly houses the Louisa Flowers, which offers affordable housing, C3PO, which stands for Creating a Conscious Community with People Outside, which provides an alternative shelter space with tiny houses for our unhoused neighbors. And finally, R2D2, Right to Dream 2. It's a unique approach to houselessness. R2D2 is a peer-run rest area For those that don't know, it's located down by the grain silos. And we were happy to welcome them here 7 years ago. It's become a real asset to our community. They offer a communal safe sleep area where people can get uninterrupted rest in a welcoming environment. It only runs on $3,500 a month, and they service up to 100 people a night. 13 people work there in exchange for a living space and a tiny home on the premises. And it's really, to me, a wonder of ingenuity and compassion. And as a board member of the ESD right now, one of the things that I feel is an important issue is that we support them with their operations. So I'm spearheading that and trying to push it forward. Also, Grant back there with the rainbow suspenders is from Right Stream 2. If you get a chance, talk to them about this remarkable model and find out ways that you can help out. As lots of people have mentioned so far, the Blumenauer Bridge has been a great boom for residents here. It brings new connectivity between Northeast and Southeast Portland. As someone who lives here, going into Central Eastside has been a nightmare. You have to go either on Grand or MLK or on 12th, and none of those are friendly experiences. So since the bridge is opened, I'm in Central Eastside a lot more, and a lot of my friends from Central Eastside are in Lloyd a lot more. We've, as mentioned earlier, 700 people a day are going over that. That's remarkable. That's a lot of people that are coming into Lloyd. And to welcome them, we worked on this mural at the head of the Blumenauer Bridge. It was done by local artist Jeremy Nichols, and the LCA worked with our Lloyd partners, Lloyd EcoDistrict, and Go Lloyd and Lloyd ESD to raise funds through grants from Travel Portland and Venture Portland. Joshua, who's on our board, through his role as a board member on LCA, was the person who managed and coordinated all that and kept everything on track. It's really been a stunning addition to the neighborhood, and I can't tell you how many people have already stopped me and talked about this new mural. And then located down on the East Bay Esplanade is the Duckworth Dock. This is something that was a motorized dock for years that was just sitting there. And as I was talking to some people who live here, they really thought it would be a great swimming platform. And so I found myself in a room with Willie Levinson from Human Access Project. And if anyone knows Willie Levinson, he is an advocate with he's a force of nature and just really like a creative person. So this went up a couple of years ago. It's a local favorite already of residents. And it's a great place to go get a quick swim or to meet friends, enjoy beautiful views of the river and our city. Bike racks have been added down there, and this year Human Access Project is working on more improvements. It's an amazing place to catch a sunset, and during July there's a unique phenomenon that we're calling the Duckworth Double. In July, when the sun sets, it actually reflects off of the big pink and creates this double sunset effect. And so we actually found people coming down to the dock just to see this. And then we started throwing some parties around it. As part of our advocacy work, whether it's sitting in front of city council or working with city bureaus or representing ourselves in the media, during and after COVID, this really stepped up. I represented Lloyd in a number of the mayor's action tables, monthly security meetings with Melody Brune, and weekly problem solvers meetings where we addressed a number of community issues with multiple city bureaus. This has been a lot of work. I mean, those were weekly meetings that we had to discuss everything here, but it really solved a lot of issues quickly. Recently, the problem solvers meetings have been formalized into a new city program called PEMO, the Public Environment Management Office, and it allows us to work on a number of issues with the city. And I really want to highlight a few of those that we've done with them. graffiti abatement. And so the city offers resources to clean graffiti off of buildings. Most people don't know that. But they provide cleaning material. In some cases, they'll come out and remove the graffiti. You need to stay on top of this, and the best way to report it is through the PDX reporter. That's where they get the report in, and they assess it, and then they'll dispatch crews if needed. It goes into a database, and it'll be addressed in some fashion. Private property owners require sign off to get that done, but this is something that we've had a lot of in the city, throughout the city, and I've really seen this change since this program's going into effect. The other thing that we've coordinated with the city on is adding public trash cans. And so this map shows all the locations in Lloyd where we added trash cans. Mostly where they've been badly needed, but also there's a number of places that they just didn't have any. Broadway, for example, had no trash cans whatsoever, which was incredible to me. But the city manages these cans and also collects them. So if you find an area that's needed, we can help you get that done. And then recently we did a safety walkabout with PMO. This was important because we wanted to walk them around the Lloyd and show them some of the issues and talk to the people who are actually experiencing these issues. And so Lloyd is such a large area to walk, we've actually had to split this into a series. So the first series happened a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, there's members of the city bureaus, the mayor's team was there, and Portland Police. And people were able to express sort of some of the frustrations they've had or some of the issues. And then having that team there can problem solve it right there on the spot in some cases. And then out of that too, as also mentioned, was a lighting program that we're working on and to coordinate. And we're focusing on these corridors here. So because we're getting so many people across the Blumenauer Bridge, we'd like to go from 7th at the foot of the bridge all the way up to Broadway. And then we're working with Sarah to do the Broadway businesses on both sides of that all the way up to 33rd. And that way we hope to activate that whole corridor and get people to not just come into Lloyd, but also go and experience those Broadway businesses. And then also because we get a lot of people coming in for conventions, lighting up Holiday from the DoubleTree all the way down to the convention center. So when you come into Portland and you're staying in Lloyd, you have a safe, brightly lit corridor to walk down to the convention center or back to your hotel afterwards. And then we do connections too and networking, and we do that through a couple of events. We have a monthly coffee chat. Our next one is on May 4th at 9 a.m. And this is a good opportunity to come out and meet people in the neighborhood and find out what's going on. We do quarterly luncheons. Our next one is on June 1st, and that will be from noon to 1:30. We haven't decided a date yet. But again, this is an opportunity to meet everyone in the neighborhood. We usually have a speaker that will come out and talk about something going on in the neighborhood. And then we have our LCA annual bowling tournament at Kingpins. The next one for that is May 18th. And you can sign up on our website for that, 12:30 to 3:30. And then we have a annual golf tournament, which just happened recently. So the next one's going to be in 2024. And then to keep informed, we have a newsletter that has everything happening in the neighborhood. But I also wanted to share, I wanted to end on connections because I think that's a big part of what we do is connecting. And right now we need that. For those who haven't seen, I wanted to show this. There's a Eco Northwest report that just came out. And I've been in a room full of business people twice now when this has been presented. And it's usually very somber afterwards because it spotlights that there's a lot of work to do. What's found in the report is that during the pandemic, the Lloyd and downtown were probably hardest hit by COVID. And it was because we have the office and retail space rather than a lot of residential. So being in those rooms and hearing those somber hushes, I looked at it a different way, which is this means that there's an opportunity for all of us to circle the wagons and work together to get us going back on recovery and revitalization. So, sorry, I needed some water. So one way to do that is to join the LCA. For residents, it is free. And then we have small packages for businesses. But this is the only way that we're going to move forward, getting everyone in a room together and pushing forward towards revitalization. So thank you. And by the way, there's cards over there if you want to sign up. And I'd like to introduce Wade now. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Wade Lang, your last speaker tonight. And it says on my script, pause for applause. So thank you. I got just a short piece, a really important piece. But before I go to that, you've just seen 4 organizations present a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of activity, a whole lot of projects. A lot's going on. You've been introduced to the staffs of these organizations that have worked tirelessly for Lloyd. There's also boards of all these organizations, and all of those board members volunteer their time willingly, and I think with a lot of energy and excitement year round. And so I won't ask you to stand because half of you are standing already, but for all the board members, I'd like to give them all an applause for all the efforts that they do for Lloyd day in and day out in their positions on the board. So thank you all. That's the thank you. One more. All right. Oh, look at that. We got names too. So check out name tags and thank everybody if you can match the name to the name tag. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, and it takes a lot to do what we're doing. And the next part of what I want to do is get everybody involved, those that aren't on boards, those that aren't staff. We need to hear from you. We need the feedback. We need direction because we want this to work for everybody. So with that in mind, there's a QR code. I think it's been floating all over the place. Here it is here. And I'm gonna read this part because it's a little confusing. Now's the time that we'd like to hear from you, our guests today. For those joining online, are there people online right now? All right. Hi, online. We'll have a handful of questions that we'd like you to answer. For those of you in the room, we have a brief outline survey we would like you to complete. You can either navigate to the survey with your QR code, or we can email you a link for the survey. Your response today will help guide your decision-making as we head into the coming months prior to the ESD renewal. So we appreciate the input and keep inputting. We encourage you to stay in touch. If you haven't already, please share your email address so that we can stay in contact and keep you updated on our programming events and partnership opportunities. We appreciate your feedback, so please share your ideas and help keep us in touch with you. Having regular open dialogue with our stakeholders and public partners is what makes our community strong. So with that, thank you all very much for your time on, as Hank said, a beautiful April day in Portland. Be safe swimming home, and please, please, please stay in contact, stay in touch. You know the people, you know the associations. Let's work together and keep Lloyd moving forward. So thank you all very much for your participation. Appreciate it.